He was never the loudest in the room. Yet when he left, the silence screamed louder than his presence ever did. They didn't know why, but they craved him, like a psychological drug they couldn't name. Today, I'll show you how to make people feel your absence before you're even gone. The paradox? You don't need to do more. You need to master the art of calibrated withdrawal. Keep watching, because once you learn this, you'll never chase approval again. Command, become the void. Part 1, the silent power move. Harvard researchers found something strange. In a study on attention and memory, participants were most emotionally impacted not by loud personalities, but by those who withdrew strategically. They called it the silence effect. It's a psychological imprint. Here's how it works. When someone is always available, always talking, always there, your brain stops valuing their presence. But when someone appears briefly, leaves a distinct impression, and vanishes, the brain doesn't know how to close the loop. It lingers, it obsesses, craves, like a cliffhanger that never ends. Let this sink in. Sometimes the most powerful move is leaving just before they're ready to let you go. Command, go dark. If you're watching this thinking, damn, this is different, that's not an accident. This is psychological warfare for self-mastery. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now, because the next 10 seconds will reveal the billionaire trick for engineered emotional absence. Ready? Part 2, the billionaire's trick, presence scarcity loop. Most people walk into a room and try to capture attention. But high-status individuals? They understand attention is a resource, and they control its flow. A Silicon Valley billionaire was once asked how he kept people obsessed with his presence despite rarely speaking. He smiled and said, "I never stay long enough to become normal." That's the key. You don't have to be everywhere. You have to be missed. Scarcity creates value. Emotional scarcity creates obsession. 1. Spend less time than expected. 2. Leave during emotional peaks, not lows. 3. Be mysterious about where you're going next. When you exit the conversation at its height, dopamine spikes, and without a resolution they begin to chase the feeling. You're no longer a person. You're a mental loop. Command, leave them wanting. Part 3, the invisible alpha. Let me tell you a story. There was a man. He had no flashy car, no loud voice, no alpha energy. But every time he entered a room, people noticed. And every time he left, they felt it. His trick: he never gave all of himself. He shared just enough to connect, paused long enough to create silence, withdrew just before they felt satisfied. One day he left for good, and they still talked about him years later. Not because of what he gave, but because of what he withheld. This is the dominance paradox. To be remembered more, give less. Make every interaction feel incomplete. It's not manipulation. It's elite emotional control. Command, never chase. Become the void. Scientific backing, subconscious imprinting. Princeton's Neuroscience lab found a strange pattern in emotional memory. The brain forms stronger neural connections to experiences that lack closure. This is why your brain replays arguments, heartbreaks, awkward moments. Unfinished emotional loops equals obsession fuel. Use this. Create positive emotion, then exit before the dopamine drops. They'll try to replay the moment to finish it, but they can't, because you're not there. That's how you make them miss you before you even leave. And once they're hooked, they'll seek you out again. Command, end strong. Leave early. Still watching. That means this is hitting something real. And if it is, you already feel the power behind it. Now imagine combining this with verbal dominance, covert charisma, and invisible influence. That's what's coming next on Obsidian Mindset. Hit subscribe now. You're not just learning tricks, you're entering a transformation. Part 4. Fix it fast. 3 moves to install today. Want people to feel your absence starting today? Here are 3 fix-it-fast psychological tactics. 1. The 80% rule. Leave the loop unfinished. End interactions at 80% satisfaction. Don't overstay. Don't explain everything. Leave them slightly hungry, they'll mentally feed on your memory. 2. The echo frame. Before you leave, drop a personal echo. A phrase, question, or compliment that loops. Examples: you'll think about this later. I have a feeling you'll remember this part. This plants a subconscious trigger. Even when you're gone, the brain replays you. 3. The ghost touch. Military psychologists found that subtle, unexpected moments create the strongest emotional anchors. Instead of a long goodbye, say something quiet. A light touch. Eye contact. A smirk. The moment before you leave should feel unfinished. That's what makes it unforgettable. Command, don't explain. Disappear. Part 5. Paradox of absence. How to stay in their head. The more often you're around, the less they notice. The more you vanish, the more they wonder where you are. You're training the brain to crave your presence, not because you demand it, but because you design it. This is presence engineering. Think of your energy like scent. Spray too much, they choke. Spray once, subtly, they lean in trying to catch more. Be subtle. Be scarce. Be the question they never get to answer. Advanced loop. How to weaponize anticipation. MIT's Media Lab ran a study on anticipatory dopamine spikes. They found the brain releases more dopamine in anticipation than in the actual reward. Here's how you use that. Tease future plans without confirming. Suggest you're always in motion. Say, next time, maybe. They'll begin to imagine the next encounter. And imagination is a more powerful drug than reality. They'll be hooked on a future that hasn't happened yet. Command, trigger anticipation. Withdraw. You made it to the end. That means something inside you already shifted. You're not just learning strategy. You're remembering who you really are. The world trains men to seek validation. But Obsidian mindset? We train you to become the one they chase. So here's what's next. Watch our video on the Charisma Code to learn how to make people hang on your every word. And comment below, I am the void. If you're ready to master presence, absence, and dominance, subscribe. Go dark. And remember, never chase. Become the void.